Climate change is largely about water. It's about extreme weather events and storms. It's about desertification in some places. It's about sea level rise. It's about flooding. It's about water in some, or the lack of it in some shape or form. Southern Europe, at not much above 2 degrees, could start to look like the Sahara Desert. We don't know exactly where and how these things are going to happen, but the effects on water, either places being submerged or places turning into deserts or places battered by very heavy rainfall in a very compressed period of time, that's going to lead people to move, and that's going to hundreds of millions, possibly billions, if we are reckless. We know that we shouldn't be, and we know how not to be, but if we were reckless and let that happen, you'd be seeing conflict on a massive scale with that number of people moving. And it would be about water. So it's very important to understand how the dangers will happen through largely rewriting of our relationships with water. But also, there's a tremendous amount of water management that we're going to have to do anyway, because of the climate changes that are happening and some which will go on happening, even if we act as we should very strongly. London's on a floodplain, and it's not the only city. Many of our cities are where they are because they're near the sea or they're near the rivers. That's why they're there. So though our city management of water is going to have to be enormously improved around the world, and we're going to have to invest in doing that. There are going to be some places which, the stress on water in California is probably going to get a lot worse, not better. And so management of the water that you've got is going to be extremely important. And part of that would have to be water pricing and so on. You let people use the world's scarcest resource for nothing. It's not going to work if you don't have some way of allocating and saving that water much more carefully. So all the way from flood control to husbanding very carefully the water you've got. And there's so much that we know we can do. Water harvesting is extremely important. Just saving the water you've got, just run it into a butt and use it. And designing your use of land so that, for example, in the UK, we've had terrible floods, and it's, of course, large measure to do with climate change, but it's also because the way in which we've managed our land up in the hills in a way so that they don't absorb and they're not the sponge that they could be. So there's so many dimensions to water control, looking after the forests and so on, up the hills, water harvesting, wherever, flood control, pricing water properly. It's mad that you grow rice in California. I don't understand why you do it, because you use something that's extremely valuable to make something that's not very valuable. It doesn't make any sense. It's everywhere. It's everywhere, Greg. There's so much we can do to manage it much better.